Covenant is directed by Ridley Scott and stars Catherine Waterston, Michael Fassbender, Danny McBride, Demian Bashir, Carmen Ejogo, and James Franco, and Guy Pearce are there for like 5 minutes. I don't know what the hell they were doing. Here we have an alien movie in 2017. How exciting is that? Not that much, seeing as we already got Prometheus 5 years ago. Going into this movie, I was feeling a little like, okay, cool. I'm excited to get back to what Alien is all about, because Prometheus was just this. I don't know what it was. It was there. It was pretty much a mistake. So to hear that most of the cast and crew were talking about getting really back to the roots of the Alien franchise, you know, the terror of it all, the fact that you have like a small crew being just completely terrorized by this one creature, you know, that's exciting, and it is very, very exciting. And sure, you can have movies like Aliens. When you have 100 million aliens all around this crew, you don't actually see that much of them. Most of the times when the Marines are shooting their guns, you actually don't see the shots landing all the time. You might see a few short little glimpses, and it still builds that terror. It has some great big shots of all these xenomorphs coming at you, and you feel that dread because you still don't see that much of them. So going into Alien Covenant, I was hoping that this movie could go back to that real feeling of just absolute terror at seeing a xenomorph. Did it do that? No. For anyone who didn't like Prometheus, you're going to be quite disappointed with Alien Covenant, because for a lot of it, it felt like the same thing. It's trying to apologize for all the weirdness and the rather stupidity that Prometheus took. Alien Covenant tries to fix that, but in its doing, it's painting itself into a corner for just being a Prometheus apology instead of just a straight Alien movie. To be honest, I don't care about where the xenomorphs came from. It was an interesting premise 5 years ago, before we had Prometheus, when they said that they were going to do a prequel film to lead directly into the first Alien movie. That is very, very interesting. But the way that they've gone with it is not interesting. It's the complete opposite of that. It's very boring. For a big chunk of Alien Covenant, it is quite dull. The story goes nowhere. And I feel like Alien Covenant also has been put into a box like a lot of other giant blockbuster movies that have come out in the past 2 or 3 years, where they have a first act and a third act, but nearly no second act whatsoever. The first act is legitimately interesting. You're seeing this ship, just before this crew gets onto the planet that they read a distress call from, that's when you start to feel like, okay, this could be pretty cool. And you hear the original Alien music, and you hear people talking to Mother, the computer program from the original Alien movie. And you also see that same locked symbol on computer screens, just like the first Alien movie. And that is pretty cool. And then they go on the planet and things start happening, and you're thinking, okay, all right, where are we going with this? And then it starts going into, oh, look, here's some stuff from Prometheus. Okay, and then you see the new forms of the xenomorphs. Oh god, because they're not practical at all. And I wouldn't have a big problem with that if the CGI was, you know, good, but it's not. It's honestly terrible. This looks very, very cheap. The actual alien effects are terrible. They're the worst alien effects I've seen since Alien 3. That's how bad they are, because you don't want your movie to look worse than Alien Resurrection. And pretty much from that first moment you see these new forms of the xenomorphs, these proto-forms, or whatever the hell you want to call them, it just goes into completely uninteresting territory. The biggest positive I can give for Alien Covenant is that Michael Fassbender is the best. His performance as both androids, Walter and David being a carryover from Prometheus, is fantastic. They share one particular scene together where it doesn't cut, and the camera just moves back and forth between the characters sitting in front of each other. And that is a great visual effect. I kept thinking, why do they have to make Michael Fassbender look so believable as two different characters, but they still can't get the titular character looking correct? blows my mind. The actual context of that scene and what David is doing is a giant mixed bag for me. You find out something about David and about what is connected in between Prometheus and this movie, and some of it works, some of it made me think, okay, pretty cool idea, but a lot of it's just like, oh, God, so this is what we were building to. Really? We couldn't have just done that in Prometheus? Or, here's a tip, don't do it at all. I don't care, like I said before, I don't care about where the alien came from. Just give me the damn alien. Oh, it's frustrating. We do get that same alien, the classic xenomorph look that we love from the first two Alien movies, at the very end. At the very, very end. And that's not a problem for, say, particularly the original Alien movie, where you actually do see the alien at the end, because it actually builds that up. You only get a few small little shots that build it up, that make you think, what is this thing? What is this creature? And if they had a completely different concept design, which you do see in the trailer, if that was the big surprise of the movie, and it built up to it, the tension rose and these characters are interacting and you're actually caring about the human characters, then that would have been a much better payoff. But it's not. These characters are incredibly boring. The biggest thing that just annoyed me was the actual protagonist of this movie, played by Katherine Waterston. I don't like Katherine Waterston, okay? I find her incredibly dull. I found her excessively annoying in Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. I didn't even find her that interesting in her breakout role, the thing that made all these people want Katherine Waterston, which was Inherent Vice. I thought that movie was just a train wreck, and she was, I guess. I don't see why she's been put into all these big movies. She's not interesting. She is very, very boring. She's whiny. Every time I look at her, I'm just like, just go away. Just go back to Michael Fassbender, okay? He's the most interesting part. But still, Alien Covenant doesn't work as an actual Alien movie. It tries to go back to that R-rated horror from the first two Alien movies, but it doesn't do that because it doesn't even know how to build correct horror. Right. Bad horror movies is where you don't care about the characters. They're just one-note cliches just thrown in there just so they can die in the most bloody, goriest ways possible. And that's exactly what Alien Covenant felt like. I didn't care about these people. There were some great blood and gore effects. Cool. But what does that amount to? Not that much. I'll have to say that Alien Covenant is definitely better than Alien 3, Alien Resurrection, definitely better than Alien vs. Predator 1 and 2. Does it hold a candle to those first two great films? No, it's not even a good Alien movie. It's just, I felt like it was just not that interesting. It was incredibly underwhelming. The cinematography was terrible. It went into this sort of high frame rate sort of stuff in most of the action sequences, and I could barely tell what was going on. The music is fine, but like I said, those callbacks to the Alien movie are interesting at first, but then you realize that that's just attempted nostalgia for that movie, and it doesn't actually fit into this. It would have just been so much better if they tried, really tried creatively to make a truly original way to carry on the Alien franchise instead of very much the same thing we got with Prometheus. That's very unfortunate, and I have to say that you're probably better off watching Alien Covenant on a plane. So Alien Covenant, have you seen it? Please tell me what you think about it in the comments below. There are going to be videos linked down here or one over there. For more Mr. Movies, please press my little face right there. Thanks for watching.